Hi guys, it's Vishnu here. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to Just Simplicity. So, in this video, I'm going to talk about how to trap the pieces when they are on the edge of the board. What are the problems that happens when one of your pieces are at the edge of the board, and how it affects your game. So, let's start with this example. But before I get into the solution of this example, I would like to tell you some more things. You know that in the initial starting position of the chess pieces, even after a pawn moves, even after the pawn movements, the mobility of the pieces is very small because they are not yet developed. So that's why you move your pieces towards the center so that it has got more mobility, more squares to control, so that it stays more active. Well, there are some cases where the mobility of the pieces are restricted when it reaches the edge of the board. So let's see how it affects the game by looking into this example. Now, in this example, you see that the material is equal, 5 pawns each for black and white. White has got a queen side majority and black has got a king side majority. By the way, king side majority means when it comes to pawns, there are more pawns on one side, whereas again, when compared to your opponent. For example, on the queen side, you can see that 4 pawns are there on the queen side for white and only 2 pawns for black. So white has got a queen side majority. Whereas on the king side, black has got 3 pawns and white has only got a single pawn. So black has got king side majority. Okay, so that's not anyway important in this video. We are talking about how the mobility is curtailed when your pieces reaches the edge of the board. So like now, in this example, you can see this knight is on h2. And there are only 2 squares that it can move into. 3 I mean. But g4 and f3 are controlled by white. Now only f1 is left. So if the king could reach near the knight on g2 for example, then this knight will perish because it has no square to move. So understanding that the knight is getting trapped, is not going to get trapped, white plays the move king to g3. Direct threat to the knight. Knight moves to f1 with check. King moves to f2. The only other square that black knight has got is to move to d2. If it goes to h2 here, then king g2, the knight would get trapped. Now, so black doesn't play knight to h2. He plays knight to d2, attacking this bishop. But the bishop makes a very simple move. Bishop to a2, it comes back 1 square. And now you can see that the black knight is trapped. It can't move to e4, it can't move to f3, it can't move to f1, it can't move to b1, it can't move to b3, it can't move to c4. All these squares are covered by white. Just the king has to come to e2 and this knight would meet its doom. No matter what black plays, say for example black plays any move, for example let me consider as a5, king goes to e2 and that's it. You can't escape with your knight, it's trapped. So be careful when you move your pieces to the edge of the board, especially in the end game. That happens where most of the pieces are exchanged and you tend to move your knight or bishop or rook, whatever piece it is. Whenever you move a piece to the edge of the board, its mobility is only going to get curtailed. We already saw many previous examples on mobility, obstruction. I've showed you several examples. So this is what happens when you move your piece to the edge of the board. Let's take a look at another example. Okay. In this example, you can clearly see that black's king is crammed by his own pieces, and also white has effectively placed his pieces over the board. The doubling of the rooks on f3 and f1, and a well placed queen on h6 All are attacking the black's pieces, and black is on the defensive. So here there is mate in 3, a forced mate in 3 from which black cannot escape. And the main reason how black ended this in position ended in such a fate is because of his own pieces. All those pieces are primed. They are not on active squares. They don't have open squares or diagonal. Even if they have, you see the queen has some diagonals and lines open, but it is of no use because it has to stand on e8. Its mobility has been neutralized by the placement of white's pieces because it is checkmate, because white is threatening checkmate. Queen rook f8 check. So forced, you have to take it with your queen because you can't take it with your king because there will be a check. Queen takes f8. Rook takes f8 check. Again, you can't take with your king because it's a check. Also, you cannot move your king to any other square. All those are under the control of white. You may be thinking I can move to this square, this 3 squares, but you can see that the queen is already controlling h7 and g7, and this rook is controlling f7 square. So you cannot take this rook with your king. You have to take the rook with your rook. And now an excellent way to mate the king. Queen takes g6 checkmate. It is clear that black is superior in material, but look at its position. Both the sides there are rooks. In front, behind the king, on 2 sides there is a rook, and so the king cannot move. So such a mate is also called an epaulette mate. Okay, guys, so that's it for today. All I wanted to convey this message through this video is that please be careful while moving your pieces to the edge of the board. Its mobility will decrease and it will become more restricted because the opponent can obstruct your pieces, open lines and diagonals, cut off squares to restrict the mobility of the pieces and thereby win that piece or pawn if it's on the edge of the board. So I hope you enjoyed this video. In case you did, please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And if you have any doubts or comments, and if you like more videos like this, please do post it in the comments so that I can know. And that's it, guys. Thank you. Take care of yourself. It's Vishnu signing off from Chess Simplicity. Bye bye.
No, no.